We are in ninth lit, and we're finishing the section on what we'll call is the marriage between Fruario and Ingeld. So I'm reading at the top of page 141. After Weathergeld died and his men were doomed, the Shieldings quickly claimed the field. And now, here a son of one or the other of those same killers coming through our hall, overbearing us, mouthing boasts, and rigged in armor that by right is yours. And so he keeps on recalling and accusing, working things up with bitter words until one day the lady's retainers lies spattered in blood, split open on his father's account. The killer knows the lie of the land and escapes with his life. Then on both sides, the oath-bound lords will break the peace. A passionate hate will build up in Ingeld, and love for his bride will falter in him as the feud rankles. I therefore suspect the good faith of the Heatherbards, the truth of their friendship, and the trustworthiness of their alliance. He suspects these things with the Danes. But now, my lord, I shall carry on with my account of Grendel, the whole story of everything that happened in the hand-to-hand fight. Did you get that story? I think I reviewed it yesterday. He imagines that during the wedding ceremonies, one guy from one of, say, the Heatherbard will see a Danish guy with his father's sword. And some guy will say, does that guy have your dad's sword? Remember when we fought him and they killed your dad and they took his sword? You're not going to put up with that, are you? So he's kind of tempting him to do something. And Beowulf says he will. He'll go kill the guy, take his dad's sword, and escape. And then the marriage is off and the war is started again. So if their idea was to bring peace, they did just the opposite. So he's still now talking about his killing of Grendel and Grendel's mother. Yes. You may. Yes. Where are you now? That's good. That's close enough.
Okay. And he fell asleep. The first pairs rigged out in combat. The comrades from their ranks had come to grief in Grendel's maw. He ate up the entire body. There was blood on his teeth, and he was bloated and furious, all bruised up, yet still unready to lose a halt empty-handed. Renowned for his might, he matched himself against me, wildly reaching. He had this moving pouch, a strange accoutrement.
Intricately.
Thank you. Intricately strung and hung at the ready, a rare parchment, a devastatingly fitted dragon skin. I had done no wrong, yet the raging demon wanted to clear me and many another into his blood. But it was not to be once I got to my feet in a blind fury. It would take too long to tell how I repaid the terrible slaughter for every life he took, and so one credit you, my king, to all other people. And although he got away to enjoy thy sweetness for a while longer, his right hand stayed behind in Syria, evidence of his miserable overthrow as he dived into mirth on the mere bottom.
Okay, we know all this, except there was a question. It's question number
49.
48 and 49. 48, what is Heaven's Gem? Heaven's Gem, 48.
Grendel?
What's a gem? What do gems do? They shine, and this gem is in the sky. So, and when it goes down, then nighttime happens. So it's the sun. The bag. That's something we didn't hear the first time. One question you could ask is, well, why do we have to hear it again? We heard about him killing Grendel the first time.
Dragon skin. Is the dragon skin that the bag was made of?
We're not given any evidence of what it was made of, but
No,
it's just an
It says it was
interesting
made
It
of
says it was
detail.
dragon skin.
I imagine
What's the purpose of this?
To hold like the bodies that he killed.
Right, the bodies of his victims go in the bag. Now, that's something we didn't see the first time. But we get it now. So when he retells the story, we're given details that are new. All right, so we'll go to Andrew. We're gonna go this way, and then this way. So Andrew's gonna read next.
I got lavish.
Yeah.
I got lavish rewards from the Lord of the Days for my part in battle, even more than much else. Once morning came, when we took our places at the banquet table, there was singing and excitement and an old reciter, a terrorist voice, recalled the earlier days. And time spent in the road made the tender heart tremble with sweetness, or related true and tragic happenings. At the times the king gave the proper turn to some fantastic tale, where battle scars going, bowed with old, will begin to remember the martial deeds of his youth and in pride, the overcome was past well gone in his richly heart.
All right, so now he's gonna shift over to talk about Grendel's mother. Yeah,
Wait, real quick, I didn't get what number 49 was.
read it.
It says, describes Grendel's bag and explain what you think it might signify.
I don't know what it signifies. I can't, if you can tell me, but what is it for?
Only 10 people.
The dead, his victims go in the bag. I don't know what it signifies. I honestly don't have a clue.
I gave him one book.
Yeah. All right, so let's go, is it Jacob now?
Do you want me to just read to the end of it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
We were happy there the whole day long and enjoyed our time until another night descended upon us. Well, suddenly the mother avenged her son and reaped destruction. Death had robbed her, Eats had slain Grendel, so his ghastly venom struck back and with bare-faced defiance laid in low. Thus life departed from the stage.
Ashir.
And elder wise counsel. But afterwards, on the morning following, the Danes could not burn the dead body, nor lay the remains of the man they loved on his funeral cry. She had fled with the corpse and taken refuge beneath torrents on the mountains. It was a hard blow for Hrothgar to bear, harder than any he had undergone before. Instead of the harsh sword king, he besieged me in your royal name to take my chances underwater, to win glory and to prove my lord. He promised me rewards. Hence, as it were, I went to my encounter with the terror monger at the bottom of the Tarn. For a while it was hand in hand between us, then blood went purling along the currents, and I beheaded Grendel's mother in hall with a mighty sword. I barely managed to escape with my life. Any time I not yet but happened ere the shelter of those earls again endowed me with gifts and abundance.
All right, we'll go to Caroline.
One second.
Thus the king acted with due custom, as paid and recompense completely, given full measure, and the freedom to choose from Hrothgar measures by Hrothgar himself. These King Hydra I am happy to present to you as gifts.
All right, underline that.
Wait, underline what?
These King Hygelac I am happy to present to you as gifts. So what is he doing with the gifts that that Hrothgar gave him? He's giving them away. That's why he's will be a successful king. He doesn't do him any good to hoard them, to keep them. You know, they don't have money. They don't need money. They don't buy things. They take things, they make things, they plant things, they kill things, but they don't buy things. So there's no reason to have $100 in your pocket. because there's nothing to buy with it. So holding on to valuable jewels and things, they're nice to look at. The sword is nice and sharp, he could use that, but it's more useful as a gift, because once you give it as a gift, now you've won that person over as a friend. And now Hygelac's his uncle, but he still is in charge, so he wants to be in good with the king. And don't forget, Beowulf will become king. So he had all of these things he was doing paid off later. Yeah.
Number 50 is, what is Beowulf's attitude towards Grendel's mother as suggested in his speech to Hygelak?
Yeah, he said this before Caroline goes on. He said, then suddenly the vehement mother avenged her son and wreaked destruction. Death had robbed her. Geats had slain Grendel. So his ghastly dam struck back with barefaced defiance and laid a man low. To me, there's a little bit of respect there. Like it says, death had robbed her, and she got back. It's almost like I can understand that. I can understand why she did what she did.
And so, what does it say about his character?
Well, he can even in his enemies he can see good things. That's a big person to be able to see in your enemy, your opponent. Okay, I mean, I like him, they hate him, but he does play the game well, or whatever, you know, he's skilled, whatever. That's a mature way to look at life. All right, so we're back, about line 2150.
It is still upon grace that all glory depends. I have few kinsmen for a puss. I came except for your kind self. Then he ordered the boar queen's dinner to be brought. The battle topic common. The middle shirt gray as four frost in the precious war sword. Proceeded with the speech. When Hrothgar presented this war gear to me, he instructed me, my lord, gave you some account of why it signifies a special favor. He said it had belonged to his older brother, King Herogar, who had long kept it. But that Herogar had never bequeathed to his son Heroweir, that wore these spoils,
Scion.
as he would. Enjoy it well.
They notice the end of the quotation mark. So Beowulf is done. He's finished talking. Now the narrator starts to talk, and Aiden is going to start here.
I heard four horses were handed over next. Beowulf bestowed four bay steeds to go with the armors with gallopers all alike. So ought a kinsman act, instead of plotting and planning in secret to bring people to grief, or conspiring to arrange the death of comrades. The warrior king was uncle to Beowulf and honored by his nephew. Each was concerned for the other's good.
Read one more.
I heard he presented Hygin with a tourniquet, the priceless torque that the prince's daughter, had given him, and 3 horses, supple creatures, brilliantly saddled. The bright necklace would be luminous on Hygin's breast.
All right, this is an important stanza right here, so pay attention to this. Amanda, you need to get your book there.
Thus Beowulf bore himself with valor. That's what you're saying, right? Valor?
That's correct.
He was formidable in battle, yet behaved with honor, and took no advantage, never cut down a comrade who was drunk, kept his temper, and warrior that he was, watched and controlled his God-sent strength, and his outstanding natural powers. He had been poorly regarded for a long time, was taken by the Geats, for
Okay, go back. I want you to circle every word that describes Beowulf. It's a good summary of Beowulf's character, personality. Grayson, you need to do that as well.
Did we answer number 59 yet?
I don't know, we're doing this right now.
Yeah, actually, he's a. Yeah, it is.
Was, when the paragraph before when it's like the bright necklace would be luminous on whatever that guy's name is breast, is that like a foreshadowing to something with the dragon? Cause don't dragons like gold and stuff?
Yeah, it might be. I didn't think of it, but. All right, so what are some of the character traits? Grayson, give me one. Just one.
What?
What I asked you to do, give me one.
Circle. Wait, do what? She was talking to me when you.
Okay. Somebody help us out here. Yeah.
He's, behaved with honor.
All right, he's honorable. Give me another one.
Formidable and battle.
Formidable, yeah.
Thoughts and strength.
What did he do with his, he saw that his strength came from God, yeah.
He was watching and control. He watched and controlled his God's strength.
So he was self-controlled, yes, Ben.
Kept his temper.
He was self-controlled, good, yes, Dominic.
Took no advantage.
What?
Took no advantage.
Yeah, he didn't take advantage of somebody who was was weaker than him. Remember, he's the guy that refused to fight Grendel with a weapon because he didn't want to take advantage of Grendel. Remember, it wouldn't have worked anyway, but that's the kind of guy he is.
It says he had outstanding natural powers.
All right, all those things, did you get any of that, Grayson? Did you get all those? Okay, all those things are characteristics of Beowulf. But there's one other thing you didn't mention.
Oh.
What's that?
Is it, poorly regarded?
Well, tell me about that. What does that mean?
He had been poorly regarded for a long time, was taken, for less than he was worth.
Go on.
They didn't really like see his
Who-
potential.
Who's they?
The Geats.
The Geats and his uncle Hygelac didn't think he was going to amount to much. And of all things, they said that he had no power. He has the strength of 30 men in one hand. And yet at some point, he didn't make a very good impression on them. And so, I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened to him, but suddenly he became this super guy. All right, so let's go to Spencer.
The battle fame became bulwark of his earls, ordered a gold chase heirloom of grapples to be brought in. It was the best example of a gem-studded sword in the Geat treasury. This he laid on Beowulf's lap and then rewarded him with land as well. 7,000 hides in the hall of the throne. Both owned land by birth in the country, ancestral grounds by the greater right and sway were inherited by the higher born.
So, remember, he gave stuff away to Hygelac, but then Hygelac gives more stuff to him. So it's not like he has nothing to show for it, but he did the right thing. He made the first gesture. He gave away these gifts, and now he's being honored in return. Griffin.
Okay. A lot was to happen in later days in the period of battle. Hygelac fell and the shelter of her dread shield proved useless against the fierce aggression of the
Shifling.
Kings. Ruthless swordsmen, seasoned campaigners, they came against him and his conquering and with full force came down. So afterwards, the White Kingdom emerged again. He ruled it well for 50 winters, whose holy wise as worded of the land.
All right, so it's really interesting how in a very brief section, we go 50 years into the future, because it says in that little section, the Hygelac did die, we know that, we heard about that earlier. Beowulf becomes king for 50 years. So, and then you stop right in the middle of this, but we'll go over to Olivia. And it's right in the middle of a sentence. Until one began, now he seamlessly shifts over to the dragon now. All of a sudden, we're now talking about the dragon. Question.
What was Beowulf's original intentions for the journey? Why did he originally?
For the what?
What was his original intentions for like his coming to the town?
Well, he's back home now. He went to, remember, we know why he went to Denmark to help Hrothgar. Now he's back home.
Yeah, it just made it sound like his intentions like changed over the story. But I always thought he was like just to kill Grendel.
He did. He killed Grendel's mother, and he came home. And then we just saw this long scene about he and Hrothgar, Hygelac, talking about what happened and exchanging gifts, and all of a sudden 50 years go by. And now we're 50 years into the future.
Why did the narrator do that?
I mean, there's only one possible explanation. He wanted to. I mean, in his design for the book, those 50 years didn't matter. That's to him. Somebody else can write another book about those 50 years, but they didn't matter to the writer. What mattered was the three monsters, Grendel, Grendel's mother, and now the dragon. So he places the dragon literally at the end of Beowulf's life. So, Olivia. Until one began to dominate.
Until one began to dominate into the dark, a dragon on the prowl, from the steep wall to the stone roof thereof, where he guarded a horde. It was really past the midnight field, someone managed to interfere with the human trade. He had handily made gems that had gone, but it gained nothing, though each while he had outwitted the sleeping dragon that drove him into rage, as people of that country would see.
All right, so we're introduced to the dragon, and nothing unusual here. What aspects of dragons do we recognize?
They guard a lot of good treasure.
They hoard treasure, and somebody steals one little thing, and it makes him really angry. If a person did that, like he had this whole treasure and he lost one goblet and he loses it, what would we think of that person? He's got problems. Yeah, why would he miss? I mean, no, we don't condone stealing, but why would you get so upset out of one thing? But it would be ultimate selfishness. Julie, read us into the play.
So we're at the intruder?
Yes, we are.
The intruder who broached the dragon's treasure and moved him to wrath had never meant to. It was desperation on the part of a slave, fleeing the heavy hand of some master, guilt-ridden and on the run, going to the ground. But he soon began to shake with terror, and shot the wretch, panicked, and ran away with the precious metalwork.
Okay, you just have to understand that those ellipses there, the little dots, mean something's missing, of course, and they don't know where it is. They just didn't fill in the blanks. They just left that part out because that part, there seems to be something missing in the original text. So you can keep reading.
Panicked and ran away with the precious metalwork. There were many other heirlooms heaped inside the earth house, because long ago, with deliberate care, somebody now forgotten had buried the riches of a high-born race in this ancient Alexander.
Cash.
What?
Cash.
Cash. Death had come and taken them all in times gone by, and the only one left to tell their tale, the last of their line, could look forward to nothing but the same fate for himself. He foresaw that his joy in the treasure would be brief.
You ever wonder where all this treasure came from in these stories? The dragon doesn't take it. He's not a thief. He's a hoarder.
Is it because somebody hid it and forgot about it?
Yeah, somebody has to hide it. You're hiding it underground, which is what he just said. We talked about this last period. You literally, no matter what you own, you cannot take it with you. When your time comes, you don't take anything with you. Nothing, literally. Even your own body. you can't take with you. Can't take any money with you, can't take clothes with you. You know, the only thing that goes is your soul. And so this would be a good example. Why would you hoard stuff that the dragon, he can't use it. What does the dragon do with it? Can he spend it? He doesn't even look at it. He sleeps on it. You know, it's the silliest thing in the world to think, why would dragons hoard it? They just do it, and they don't enjoy it. It's just ridiculous. But if people did that, it would be equally ridiculous. If people just kept it and hid it and counted it and looked at it, that would be absurd as well. So we'll stop here. So tomorrow, we will pick it up here, but don't be surprised if I ask you to write. I told you about that, yeah. So be thinking about a potential story you want to write, and we're going to write the opening scene over a period of 3 days. Whenever we start. We may not start tomorrow, but we may, yes.
Why does the narrator explain the reasons for the intruder's disruption of the dragon?